Today we will be diving into some ideas that I believe would make Sea of Thieves great again. From quality of life improvements to new adventures in the world, and even changes to the way you interact with crewmates and other pirates on the seas. So let's get right into it with quality of life changes. The first quality of life improvement I would like to see in the game is the ability to favorite weapon skins. This would make switching out weapons in the middle of battle much easier because you won't have to search for the weapons that you want to equip in the sea of cosmetics that you've purchased while playing the game. The second quality of life change I would like to see in the game is the ability to save and combine different character cosmetics into single outfit loadouts, allowing you to quickly switch between outfits without manually equipping each piece. The third quality of life change I would like to see in the game is wheelbarrows. Unlike the pickupable stool that you can take on your ship with you, the wheelbarrow would only be able to move on land, so you'd have to keep it on an island, and you would use it to transport multiple chests at the same time. I would specifically place these randomly somewhere on an island with a vault in it. This would give players a reason to explore the island to find one, and then save them a lot of time when moving loot from the vault. And we could introduce a balancing mechanic to the wheelbarrow, just like the tightrope on the Harpoon. And when you fail it, the chests just fall out on the floor. The fourth quality of life change I would introduce to the game is the quick sail button. At this time, to be able to get into the game and actually sail my ship, I have to press 10 different buttons. And that's assuming I don't want to repair my ship beforehand, which I usually do. So having a quick sail button that immediately takes me to the high seas on my favorite sloop would be a great way to save me from getting annoyed before the game even started. The fifth quality of life change I'd like to see in the game is the ability to click on a cosmetic to be able to find which commendation it comes from. At this time, when you see a cosmetic, it tells you the name of the commendation, but then you have to manually sift through the list of hundreds of different commendations to be able to find which one it actually is. And now for the world changes. The first world change I'd like to see in the game is the addition of an ice biome. Currently, the Sea of Thieves has 4 different regions. Majority of the map consists of mainly normal seas, but when we look to the east, we have the Devil's Roar. This region is known for its fiery volcanoes and boiling seas. So to contrast that, I would like to see an ice biome somewhere to the west of the world. Now I'm gonna go ahead and read out some ideas that I have for what the ice biome could bring. For starters, other than the islands themselves, just like the current Sea of Thieves has different rock formations in the seas, we could have small or larger icebergs. The islands themselves could be populated by ice skeletons and polar bears for enemies, and even maybe potentially a Yeti boss. And of course, we have to have some penguins. Come on. With the introduction of the ice biome, I would also like to see a new throwable added to the game. The ice throwable could be used on an enemy ship to freeze the helm or the capstan to prevent the enemy players from interacting with it until they break the ice, either by shooting it, cutting it with a cutlass, or even burning it with some flames. Another cool thing that I think the ice biome could bring is the weather. Everything from gentle snow that would lightly cover your boat, hail that would barrage your ship, and freezing rain that would make the deck on your ship slippery. And also, just for fun, I'd love to have the ability to just ice skate around somewhere, or maybe even make some snowballs from piles of snow on some islands. Now for the second world change, the Floating Turtle Island. This would be a world event where a giant turtle surfaces from the depths of the seas at a random location for a limited time. And while you explore this island, that is the shell of the turtle, you would be able to find different types of treasure and different types of junk from shipwrecks that you could clean up for unique rewards and cosmetic unlocks. We could also introduce some enemies that are harming the shell of the beast for you to take down. Now for the third world change. I'm sure you are all familiar with the struggle that is leveling up your Hunter's Call reputation. So it would be nice to see some new content for Hunter's Call. For starters, making it an official company and having the emissary flag added to it would be very helpful. But you can't have an emissary flag without having some nice voyages to go along with it. Here are some ideas. The introduction of a new type of way of catching fish would be great. I for one would love to go spearfishing in the game. And just like the Merchant Alliance, where you have voyages where you have to find specific type of animals, it would be nice to have different types of quests that request different types of fish to be caught and brought in. Also, with the rework of the Hunter's Call, there's the opportunity to introduce new animals to the game. Specifically, animals that you would hunt down for quests, like a wild boar, for example. And now for the final world change. Aesthetics. Giving us more things to look at in the game. For example, dolphins that swim by your ship and dive out of the water, random jellyfish and sea turtles, and maybe even a whale on occasion on the horizon. We don't need to have the ability to interact with them, just being able to see them would be nice. And now we move to the player changes. I personally would love to see a player hub added to the game, and currently Sea of Thieves has the perfect location for that, the Sea Dog Tavern. Back in the arena days, this was used as the loading lobby for the arena game mode. So I think it would be really nice if players could either load into the Sea Dog Tavern at the start of the game, or be able to sail towards the island where the Sea Dog Tavern is to be able to join the lobby. In that lobby, you'd be able to interact with different players, invite each other to parties, and sail off to the seas. And of course, ask them all sorts of different questions for videos when you have ideas. But that's just me. Now this one is my personal favorite idea. The ability to challenge a player to a duel. At the moment, we have the Make Friends emote in the game. When you use this emote and someone else uses it back at you, they will be prompted to add you to the friend list. So I would love to see an emote that challenges someone to a duel. The first player uses the emote to challenge a person to a duel, the second one uses it to accept it. Once you've accepted the duel, you get put in a temporary alliance state. That way, when one of you wins the fight and takes the other player down, you have the chance to revive them. Of course, that is only an option for you. If you decide to let them die and move on to the Ferry of the Damned, you are free to do so. But if not, and if you want to duel a few more times, you can just revive each other until you're done. To make sure this doesn't get abused in any way, you'd have to either set a time limit on the temporary alliance, or make it so there is a zone created in the vicinity where the duel was challenged, and if you leave that area, you forfeit the duel and the alliance gets broken. And finally, we have the shrinking zone in Hourglass. I'm sure all of you have experienced this before. You get into a game of Hourglass and the enemy team keeps running away. So introducing a time limit and a shrinking zone to the Hourglass battles would resolve this issue. Eventually, they will be forced to fight because they will have no more space to run to. And now for the speed round. The ability to use the sovereigns on safer seas without upgrading or leveling up your ship's milestones. Because let's be honest, no one wants to run around from one tent to the other, back to your ship, to sell things that are only giving you like 30% of the actual value. So at the very least, let the safer seas players save their time and sell at the sovereigns. Now this one is kind of unique. I'd like the ability to be able to discard your cutlass during a storm to stop the helm from moving, so you as a solo player can tend to your ship without getting lost in the storm. You would probably have to make it so it's only possible to be done when you are a solo player, and it can only be done to your own ship. Because goddammit, am I tired of the storm making me do U-turns while I'm fixing the goddamn holes that it put in my ship. I would also like to see whirlpools potentially added to the game. As a new little environmental hazard, you would either have to avoid them by sailing around them, or by effectively maneuvering your ship to go into the whirlpool and use the momentum of the water to get your ship out of it. The ability to play safer seas with multiple ships. Now, I myself do not play safer seas, but I know a lot of people that do. And there are some times when the galleon's 4 slots just do not cut it. And being forced into high seas just because you have a bigger friend group is very unfortunate. I would also like to be able to customize your harpoon skins, have a pet rat, and why not just add a skeleton brig to the game? We have a skeleton sloop, a skeleton galleon, why not make a skeleton brig as well? And that will be all for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me what you think of these ideas. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Which one of these would you like to see implemented into the game? And which one of these do you think should never be implemented into the game? And if you have your own ideas, make sure to leave a comment down below. And if I see a lot of cool ideas that I like, maybe I'll just make part 2. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and hey, I'll see you in the next one.